Welcome to this video on the power of positive thinking. If you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or like life just isn't going your way, you're in the right place. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how positive thinking is not just a feel-good philosophy, but a powerful force that can transform your brain, your health, your relationships, and ultimately your entire life. This isn't just a motivational talk. This is science-backed, real-world, applicable insight drawn from decades of research in psychology and neuroscience. So if you've ever wondered if there's a deeper power behind your thoughts, there is. And today, you're going to learn how to tap into it. So let's start with the basics. What is positive thinking? Positive thinking isn't about ignoring reality or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about training your mind to focus on possibilities rather than problems, on solutions rather than obstacles. It's the conscious effort to choose hope over despair, growth over fear, and clarity over confusion. But why does that matter? Because your thoughts are not just mental events, they're neural events. Every time you think something, whether positive or negative, you strengthen specific pathways in your brain. And over time, those pathways shape how you feel, what you expect, and even what you achieve. This is where the power of positive thinking really begins. It doesn't just change your perspective, it changes your brain structure. Here's something you might not know. Scientists now understand that the brain is incredibly plastic, meaning it can rewire itself based on your repeated thoughts and experiences. This is called neuroplasticity, and it means that the more you think positively, the more your brain begins to default to optimism, resilience, and creative problem solving. Think of it like this. If negative thinking builds walls in your mind, positive thinking builds bridges. Bridges to new behaviors, new relationships, new outcomes. That's why people who practice positive thinking tend to have lower stress, better physical health, and even longer lifespans. And it's not about being blindly cheerful. It's about recognizing that your mindset is the foundation of your life, and that you can choose to build that foundation on possibility, courage, and strength. Now that we've laid the foundation for what positive thinking is and why it matters, it's time to dig deeper into the science. Because understanding the why behind something gives you the power to use it more effectively. Let's explore exactly how positive thinking works in the brain and why it's more than just a mindset. It's a mechanism. When you think positively, your brain activates specific regions associated with motivation, reward, and emotional regulation, primarily the prefrontal cortex and the dopaminergic system. The prefrontal cortex helps you plan, make decisions, and regulate your emotions. The dopamine system is tied to feelings of pleasure, goal-directed behavior, and persistence. When you're stuck in negative thinking, like worry, regret, or hopelessness, your brain lights up in areas linked to rumination and anxiety, such as the amygdala, and parts of the default mode network. These areas are useful for survival, but overactivation can lead to chronic stress. But when you train your mind toward optimism, your brain begins to favor networks that support emotional regulation, hope, and problem solving. This brings us to one of the most exciting scientific discoveries of the last century: neuroplasticity. In simple terms, neuroplasticity means your brain is always changing. It reorganizes itself based on experience, focus, and repetition. That means if you repeatedly engage in positive thought patterns, your brain physically rewires to make those patterns easier and more natural over time. So when we say that positive thinking gets easier the more you do it, it's not just a motivational slogan, it's a neurological fact. Psychologists have studied positive thinking for decades, and the results are consistent. People with a more optimistic outlook experience lower rates of depression and anxiety, higher resilience in the face of stress, stronger immune function, greater achievement in academics, work, and personal goals. One landmark study by Dr. Martin Seligman, often considered the father of positive psychology, found that optimistic people perform better across nearly every domain because they believed their actions mattered and were more likely to persist. Another study by Barbara Fredrickson introduced the broaden and build theory, which shows that positive emotions broaden out awareness and help us build new skills, relationships, and resources over time. In other words, optimism is self-reinforcing. The more you cultivate it, the more tools you gain to succeed. Let's not forget the physical health benefits. Positive thinkers are less likely to develop cardiovascular disease, more likely to recover from surgery and illness faster, able to cope with chronic illness better, shown to have lower levels of inflammation and cortisol, the stress hormone. It's not magic, it's biology. Your thoughts trigger chemical reactions, and over time, those reactions shape not just your mind, but your body. So here's the takeaway. Positive thinking is powerful because it rewires your brain, strengthens your body, and sharpens your mind. It's not about ignoring problems. It's about changing how you engage with them. Now that you know the science behind positive thinking, the next question is, how do I actually do it? How do I make positive thinking a real daily practice, not just something I hear about on the internet? That's what today's segment is about. I'll show you 5 simple but powerful techniques you can start using immediately to train your brain to think more positively. These exercises are evidence-based, time-tested, and incredibly practical. Number 1, the gratitude exercise. One of the most well-documented practices in the field of positive psychology is gratitude journaling. Every evening, take just 5 minutes to write down 3 things you're grateful for that happened during the day. They don't have to be big, just real. A good cup of coffee, a smile from a stranger, a small task you finished. Why does this work? It works Because gratitude rewires the brain to scan for good instead of fixating on problems. Research from Emmons and McCullough shows that people who practice regular gratitude experience better sleep, higher energy, and stronger emotional well-being. Number 2, reframing negative thoughts. Next is a technique called cognitive reframing. This comes from cognitive behavioral therapy, and it's one of the most effective ways to shift your thinking. Whenever a negative thought arises, like, I'm not good enough, pause and ask, is this thought really helpful or harmful? Is there another way to look at this? What would I say to a friend if they thought like this? Reframing trains you to challenge your inner critic and replace automatic negativity with realistic optimism. It doesn't mean denying hard truths, but it empowers you to choose your mental frame. Number 3, visualization for empowerment. Here's another tool used by elite athletes, public speakers, and high achievers. Visualization. Each morning, close your eyes for 2 to 3 minutes and visualize yourself successfully handling the day. Imagine finishing your tasks, facing challenges calmly, and feeling proud by the end of the day. Your brain can't always tell the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. So when you visualize success, you prime your nervous system to behave in ways that lead to it. Studies show visualization improves confidence, motivation, and follow-through. Number 4, positive affirmations with emotional anchoring. Positive affirmations aren't just cheesy slogans. They can be tools for cognitive reinforcement when paired with emotion. Choose 2 or 3 personally meaningful affirmations. Say them out loud, slowly, while feeling the truth behind the words. For example, I have overcome before. I will overcome again. I am calm, capable, and grounded. Every challenge is shaping me into someone stronger. The key is to repeat them regularly, especially during stressful moments, so your brain starts to believe and embody them. Number 5, the upward spiral of action. Here's one of the most underrated secrets of positive thinking. Don't just think it, act it. Start with a small positive action, like calling a friend, going for a walk, or tidying your space. That one action will boost your mood, which gives you energy for the next one. This creates what researchers call an upward spiral, a chain reaction of momentum. Positive thinking isn't just mental, it's behavioral. So even when you feel like it, you don't feel like it, do one good thing. The rest often follows. You don't need to master all these techniques at once. Just pick one and begin. These small practices done consistently are the building blocks of a more positive life. So far, we've explored the science, the strategies, and the daily habits of positive thinking. But you might be wondering, does this really change anything? Does it actually work in real life? The answer is absolutely. In this segment, we're going to talk about real-world outcomes, the practical power of positive thinking when applied to your career, relationships, and sense of purpose. Then, we'll look at how to integrate all of this into your life in a way that actually sticks. Number 1. The impact on career and goal achievement. Let's start with work and personal goals. Studies consistently show that individuals who think positively are more likely to set goals, stick with them, and achieve long-term success. Why? Because positive thinkers expect progress, and this changes how they respond to failure. Instead of interpreting setbacks as proof of inadequacy, they see them as temporary and surmountable. They adapt, adjust, and keep going. Consider the story of Thomas Edison. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's not just clever wordplay. It's the mindset of resilient optimism. It's a belief in progress, not perfection. Number 2. The power of positive thinking in relationships. Now let's talk about relationships. Positive thinking doesn't just improve how you see yourself. It reshapes how you relate to others. When you adopt a more optimistic outlook, you become more emotionally available, forgiving, solution-oriented, grateful, and affirming. People are drawn to those who radiate positivity. Not just fake cheerfulness, but a grounded belief that things can get better. One study from the University of Oregon found that couples who express positive emotions during conflict were more likely to resolve disagreements and stay satisfied in their relationships long term. Why? Because positive emotion creates openness, and openness leads to connection. Number 3. Resilience and the power to endure. The power of positive thinking also shines brightest in times of hardship. In crisis situations, whether it's a job loss, illness, grief, or mental health struggles, people with a positive mindset are more likely to recover faster, ask for help, and adapt creatively to new challenges. That's not to say they don't suffer, but their belief in eventual recovery helps them keep moving. Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl wrote in Man's Search for Meaning that those who survived the concentration camps were not necessarily the physically strongest, but those who believed their lives still had meaning. Positive thinking became a lifeline to purpose. Number 4. How to integrate this into everyday life. So how do you turn all this into a way of life? Here's a simple framework you can start using today. Number 1. Morning reset. Begin each day with one positive affirmation and one small goal. Number 2. Midday check-in. Notice one thing going right, no matter how small. Number 3. Evening gratitude. Reflect on 3 things you're grateful for. This completes the day with optimism. Number 4. Weekly visioning. Once a week, visualize a goal you're working toward and the version of you who achieves it. You don't need hours. You need moments of intention. repeated over time. So here's what we've seen. The power of positive thinking isn't cliche, it's a tool. One that affects your brain, your body, your success, and your sense of meaning. It's a power that builds over time and amplifies everything you do. We've come a long way together in this video. You've learned what positive thinking really is, not just as a motivational catchphrase, but a powerful psychological and biological force that can reshape your life. You've seen the research, the techniques, and the real-world examples. But before we close, I want to leave you with a simple, honest message. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to believe that change is possible. What this journey is really about. This isn't about ignoring pain or pretending everything is okay when it's not. This is about realizing that you have a choice, even in the middle of difficulty. A choice in how you think, a choice in how you speak to yourself, a choice in how you respond to what life throws at you. Positive thinking isn't about smiling through suffering. It's about finding strength, direction, and resilience in the midst of it. It's a kind of inner discipline that says, I will not be ruled by fear. I will not let negativity define me. I choose to believe in something better. What happens when you choose positivity? When you choose positive thinking, you begin to build momentum. You stop waiting for the perfect conditions. You start finding power in the present. You realize that every action, every thought is a seed. And over time, those seeds bloom into something real. Like better relationships, greater emotional balance, more creativity, deeper joy. This is the silent revolution that happens inside you and no one can take it away. A final encouragement. If today was the day you needed a sign, this is it. You're not stuck. You're not behind. You are in motion. And that momentum grows every time you choose a better thought, a kinder response, a braver belief. Let this be the start of something real. Don't wait for the perfect moment to live with intention. Start now with what you have, where you are. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If this video helped you, consider sharing it with someone you care about. And if you'd like to see more content like this, grounded in science, driven by purpose, subscribe, like, and let me know what you'd like to explore next. Remember, your mind is the soil, your thoughts are the seeds. What you plant today shapes your future. Keep going. You've got this.